because I want to keep auditioning. I will forever. But I
Yeah.
also realize if you want to see change, you have to be the change.
Welcome to another episode of the Hollywood Bound Actor Podcast. I'm excited. Look, if you need a jolt of energy and good vibes, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, I am interviewing one of my past private clients. He's a sweet soul, super talented artist, Micheal Marcelio. And he's wearing his Booking Magnet t-shirt. For those of you who are only listening on the audio, I would highly suggest you come over to the YouTube channel and watch so you can see his beautiful face also. Micheal. Hello, my dear. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I just wanted to, at the top of this, give you your flowers. I feel like something I've been thinking about lately in acting is so many people will tell you what you're doing wrong, but they won't ever tell you what you're doing right. And I remember taking your class, and it was so funny because I really needed that at that time because I am more of the bigger theatrical actor. I do have big eyes that pop on screen, but you taught me how to hone in on that. And it's so funny. We was watching, me and my boyfriend was watching your show, Classified, girl. We didn't watch.
Yes, on Amazon Prime.
On
Yes.
Amazon. Go watch now, okay? It's an amazing show, by the way. So congrats on that. But what I wanted to say is my boyfriend didn't know much about the class because I think we dated after I took the class, and I was like, that's my mentor, Christine Horn. I was like, do you know why I took her class? Because he studies acting too. I had him look at you. He said, her eyes. He said, I can tell she uses her eyes a lot and she's really expressive. And that's how you are as an actor. So you need to train and work with people who are in your same realm and in your medium of stylistic acting choices. Not a lot of people do that. You get in all these classes in LA or wherever you're based and you do these things, but they're teaching you from their methods, the way they act. You know what I'm saying? Acting is universal, but at the same time, it's very individualistic. It's different styles, different methods, different this. And I was just so grateful to take your class because it made me realize I'm not big. I'm not doing all these crazy things that people deem me to be doing. I just have to work with what I'm bringing, you know?
Yes, yes, your gifts. It is like, and as we know, there's no one way to do any of this.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the juice of this conversation, first of all, I received my flowers. I thank you. Micheal did my private Rise program, which is where you work with me one-on-one privately. So it's very intimate and intense in its own beautiful way. But I'm such an advocate for loving the skin you're in. These are what makes someone else stand out, is different than somebody else, right? I always say you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to put some rims on it. And guess what? You are the rims.
Baby, I put them 40-inch rims on mine, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Micheal, give us a little backstory of who you are, where you're from, and just who are you as a human being?
Yeah, I like that. So again, my name is Micheal Marcelio. I am from the Bay Area. So Oakland, California, what we do, baby. And I'm based in LA currently. I feel like I'm a student always. That's something at the core of who I am, just in anything I do in life. I always want to do it to the best of my ability. I remember I went to UC Berkeley. I studied business, public health, and theater. It was crazy. And I really realized at that time, I love learning. I just love being a student of life, whether it's acting, whether it's academics, whether I'm just reading and absorbing knowledge. I feel like I'm funny. The most funniest people are the smartest people, okay? Because you got to think quick on your toes. You have to be witty at all times. And
absolutely,
that's kind of who I am. I always go by the model, just do you, live your life, and just have fun. That's something I'm so big on right now. It's just having fun, goddamn it.
Yeah, I love following your Instagram stories. I'm like, living life and being a bright light.
Yeah.
When did you become an actor? How did you get started? Give me a little insight on that.
Yeah, I went to arts magnet schools my whole life, actually. So in the San Francisco Bay Area, I went to an arts magnet school where it was required of us to do theater. It was required of us to do voice training. It was required of us to do dance. and we had about 4 to 5 performances a year. So I didn't really like those necessarily, but then I joined an after school program, which was focused on Black history. And every year we put forward a Black History Month performance. And I was like, ooh, anytime February roll around, I'm like, I already know I need to be first selects. I need to have a bomb monologue. I need to come prepared. Like, it was really intense training to be in elementary school. And so I remember it was so funny. And this is how I knew I loved acting. It was one year, I think it was 2008. Obama had just got elected, and we were doing an Obama themed play where we had to do the entire inauguration speech. Whoever was going to be selected for Obama had to really go there. And I remember it was between me and this other guy. I forgot his name. Oh, his name was Malcolm. And I was saying I wanted the role, and I believe it was one of our teachers was like, you know, both of you guys are amazing, but at the end of the day, it only can go to one person. Flip a coin and we'll see. We flipped that coin, and baby, I lost. But let me tell you what I did do. I got on the floor, Christine, and I'm not a diva, but I had the biggest tantrum because I knew in my heart I wanted to play Obama. I knew I could bring that role to life at the age of 8. And so the guy, Malcolm, was like, fine, have it. And I was like, I had to do all that for me to get the role. Like, are you serious? So I got that role. I remember doing it the first night. And I remember my body just like leaving. Like, I can't even remember any of the words. It was just such passion. It was just such charisma. It was such chutzpah I felt in that role. And I remember I just seen the audience clapping loudly. That's all I remember. The next day I went to school. Congratulations from everybody. The parents would come into the school and say, you're amazing. You need to keep this up. It was so good. It got written in the SF Chronicle at the time. It was the newspaper in San Francisco. And we got to have an encore performance as well, too. And it was so special to me because that's when I realized I have this gift to transform. I have this gift of confidence. I have this gift of chutzpah, and I just needed to keep it up. So I stopped for a while because I wanted to focus on academics because I'm a student always. Then I got back in college. My professor is a series regular on Blind Spotting, and she did that Pixar movie with Jamie Foxx and Daveed Diggs. I forgot what it was called, but essentially she told me when I took a theater course at Berkeley, you need to keep doing this. She said, I know you're doing this for an elective because it's fun, but this is something I see you physically light up in.
Yeah.
Ever since then, baby, I just kept on my course since 2020, and here we are.
I love that story. I love just the commitment in elementary school, the cutthroatness of your elementary school.
For real.
What
Because
was
we pulled out of class, okay? Like, they pulled me out of class to memorize them lines, okay?
you like, so I put the work in. You know, that speaks to also how it feels now just as an actor. You know, you get an audition, you get multiple auditions, and you may not book the job, but you're like, well, I did all this work.
Yep.
And there's this energy of, and I know for those of you listening and watching who are actors, you know that feeling. It's okay to admit this is a safe space. Sometimes you just like, I did the fucking work. I want the job because I did the work.
Amen. All the time. Most times they're not.
You know what I've also learned in hindsight, I trust in the mantra I love, everything always works out for me, even when I don't understand it, even when I'm frustrated, even when I have done all that work, I've had callbacks, I've had pins and then got released, and my ego just wants the job because duh.
I need to pay my bills. I want the job. I want the credit. I want the accolades. I want everything.
There have been many times where I end up seeing that job play out, and I'm like, ooh, you saved me on that one.
You saved me on that one because it wasn't what we were supposed to do. And I think I just started realizing that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm able to now see so much of the work that I've been auditioning for finally get played on screen. And I'm like, ooh, that wasn't directed how I thought it would be. Or, ooh, this didn't take them where I thought it would take them, you know?
Yeah. Or they just went a different route. Sometimes, you know, and I know a lot of you can relate. You know, you're like, what happened? What could I have done better? What did I do wrong? I thought I killed that audition.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh, I can't tell how many times I'm like, oh, they just didn't choose a Black woman.
That
changed their minds.
That,
Or they went older, they went younger. Like there's so many times we're in our head and our default is what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And I'm not saying sometimes we don't need to elevate our game and work in our technique for sure. But I'm always advocating to anyone I'm in communication with, let's not let that be our default response, our default answer when we don't book.
Exactly. Oh, wait, because you're preaching to me right now. I think I told you I was pinned to play opposite Keke Palmer and SZA in that new Issa Rae movie. Girl, heart was shattered. I was sad. I was like, what did I do wrong? Oh my God, I did amazing. Casting was like, we thought it was going to be you. End up getting cast, the role got cast, and it was someone I knew, and he actually also knew Keke and Issa and wrote on his story, oh, I've been excited. I ran into them at some award show, and I told Keke I want to work with her soon, and we need to work together. And she said, yeah, for sure, we need to work together. I'm like, well, that's what it was right there, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you can't beat when somebody knows someone, goddamn it. You know, you can only do the work and get that pin. But after that, I mean, we're all talented at that point. When you get pinned for something, when you get a callback for something, it's not a matter of you being able to act at that point. It's a matter of pretty much apples and oranges. Who do we want today for this role? It's not you anymore. It really removes you from the physical experience of it, which is scary, but it's real.
And what I know it doesn't always feel good in the moment, as because we get to listen, we get to feel everything we need to feel. We get to feel anger. We get to feel frustration. We get to feel like I just want to throw in the towel. I'm mad. You get to have all those feelings because we're human and we use our emotions for our work. We get to, I think sometimes people are like, I should just get over it, get tough skin. Yeah, my skin gonna get tough, but hold on. I'm gonna cry for 10 minutes. For today and eat hot wings. And some champagne. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm just talking, making that up.
Or maybe it's from experience. No.
It's definitely from experience. But what I do know, like I know, and I talk about this and I teach a class on this called How to Book the Room. You have booked the room. Those pins do not go unnoticed. Casting, you are on their short list. I can't tell you how many times I get the message from my team. They loved you. They went in another direction, but they love you. They love you. They love you. And they're not just saying it to make your team feel good. You know, then the proof is in the pudding when you get called back for another project. You know, you talked about, elementary school and your passion and doing it in college. Talk a bit about what was support like for you as a young artist, and even today, right now, like from family, those who you trust and love. Because for some people listening, they don't have the support that they desire. For some people, their support only comes from friends and acquaintances. What was that like for you?
You know what's so, I don't want to cry. I feel like it was so rocky because in this industry, and especially as actors, we can tell when someone is acting and when somebody is being genuine. And a lot of the time, I felt like people around me were saying, keep going. And they believed me. But when things take a while, when you're a plant getting created and you're getting that sunlight and nourishment that you need, sometimes people want to rush the plant. They want it to grow fast. And that's just not the career we're in. So suddenly, sometimes that support dwindles. Sometimes that sunlight dwindles. Sometimes the people around you are not pouring into you as much as you once wanted them to, right? But at the end of the day, something I've realized is you have to be your support. You have to believe that you can do it no matter what anyone else around you thinks. So I feel like I get a lot of support, but definitely sometimes it's not a physical person being there and like, hey, we're going to hammer out this audition. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to be amazing. You are a great actor. You got this. You can do this. Let's get it on. I don't get that level of support that I want to, but if something's on TV that I'm airing in, or some people are quick to say, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I saw you in that commercial.
Exactly. But you know what I say is this really builds strength. It really, because this is a mind. You know what I'm saying? Everything we're experiencing, the industry, people don't really say the things people think about the industry verbatim. We're just all thinking about them in this collective consciousness. No
Yeah.
one really has tangible, real experiences all the time of the things that we experience, but it's just this internal feeling that we have, and it's our inner monologue. And sometimes I find when I can just shut off that inner monologue, stop focusing on the people who I want to be focused on, and stop focusing on all these other external factors except for myself, is when I realize I'm the person I've needed and I show up. So it's not about the support for me, it's about what I bring to my own work, you know?
I love that. I love that. And I think that that'll be helpful for someone out there because, I know some of you listening and watching, you like, for me, my mother has been a rock, has always, I mean,
Aww.
she exposed me to art, to
Aww.
see plays and Broadway and off Broadway. And, and of course, she certainly had her moments where like she just wanted it so bad for me. She'd be sad for me, like, you didn't get it. Like, what
Same.
do you know how people don't understand? Like, okay, so you on audition, you booked it. Well, no, see, I got to drive to New Orleans, see, for this first, huh? But wait, you going what?
Exactly. They don't get any of it. But my mom is starting to understand too. She's like, oh, your pin. She's like, okay, so that means you're like up there on a board and it's like 3 headshots. I'm like, very close. That's
Right.
pretty much it. That you get the logistics of everything now, mom. I appreciate you taking your time to get it, you know?
Because at the core of it, most of our loved ones want the best for us.
Correct.
And
Mm-hmm.
people fear what they don't understand.
That,
So that's big to know. So even when your family or someone says, get a real job, go do something that's more concrete and more secure, it is not coming from, they just don't believe in you. It is coming from, they don't, when you really break down what we do, it sounds nuts.
sounds very nuts, very non-believable. And the reality of it, we're trying to convince people that everything we're doing is believable, literally.
And then, but listen, listen to the sound of my voice. Your life, your career can change in an instant.
Mm.
One booking away.
Mm.
I was coaching one of my students in my Book More TV course. If you've been following me for a while, I have that signature course, and we do a live monthly Q&A. So no matter when you join the class, you can come to the Q&As forever. And shout out to one of I'm not going to say her name, but she asked this question. She was like, I've been getting these guest stars and I'm just not auditions, but they're not translating. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I'm like, well, we can talk about that. And understand that the pool of talent gets actually it's like the Olympics. LA is, especially living in LA or New York, that's the Olympics of acting. And so we are in a stage and age where Nicole Kidman does television a lot.
Yeah.
There was a time where TV actors did TV and movie stars did movies, and that changed a long time ago. And so even a one-day guest star, I know we're in our self-tape bubbles and we don't see everybody in the waiting room anymore, but I remember being in LA pre-COVID and seeing people I have watched on TV my entire life in the waiting room signing in for the same role that I was.
Yep.
And so the pool, it gets deep. And that one booking, that next guest star you do could be the next Abbott Elementary. Now you're getting Emmy Awards.
Yes.
And so the stakes get higher from the co-star, the one-liner, the two-liner. And so you have to keep being in a space of elevation and understand if you're even getting called in, really, it really is a win. But understand that, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a room with Essence Atkins. Like, oh, shit, taste this. It's you again.
It's real though. And even those co-stars, Christine, it's crazy how many people with top of show guests and guest stars are still taking co-stars now. Times are hard. These recur co-stars are the new thing for a lot of people. So even that level of talent has really progressed, you know?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because that segues into my next question that I'm being very open and transparent with people listening, because there's an idea, people like, I'm gonna quit my job and move to LA. And I'm like, hold on. Hold on.
Hold your horses. hold them steady, please. Cause no, don't do it.
Okay, before we get back to the episode, this is for my new actors out there. If you're a new actor, maybe you're working your 9 to 5 or your 5 to 10, and you have this secret desire to become an actor, but you just don't know where to start. You don't know how to get an agent or a manager. You don't know what kind of acting techniques you need to know. You don't have a monologue. You don't know what websites to sign up on. I got you. I wanted to make sure you knew about my course for beginner actors. It's called Breakout Star Academy. Visit breakoutstaracademy.com today, and you will get instant access to a course with hours and hours and hours of training. Me literally walking you through step by step on all these things to get your career started. It doesn't have to be a far off dream anymore. Yes, you can do it at your own pace. So whether you have 2 jobs, some kids, a family, or a school load, it doesn't matter. Breakout Star Academy will give you the information you need to jumpstart your career. And I would be honored to be your coach on that journey. So again, visit breakoutstaracademy.com and register today. So as someone who you work a lot and you do commercials, you do a lot of things, but talk a bit about, and I don't want to say surviving because I don't like that. Talk about thriving, not being a starving artist, and how you've used other creative parts of your brain to sustain your life and your well-being, and how, just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I was gonna say for me, I feel like you're right. I'm not the surviving artist. Thank God. One thing about my mom, she said, go to school, get your degree. She said, you may not like it, but do it and use it. I said, okay, mama, let me do it. I say, you're right, I don't like it, but it's paying these bills and it's affording the acting stuff. It's affording my own studio. It's affording these classes. It's affording all those things. So now I have the luxury to just simply be able to act. But with that, I still feel like you're right. There are some things I don't get, some things I do get. And it's so crazy you mentioned this because I'm at this weird point in my career where I can tell I'm getting fed up with the industry. Just genuinely fed up, genuinely fed up with not being chosen, genuinely fed up with getting multiple callbacks with the same people. And I'm still not getting the booking. I'm like,
Kiki, if you're listening, Micheal Marcelio is ready.
Kiki, you know it's your girl. Come on, Kiki. I need you, girl. I just had a call back with Natasha Ward yesterday or last week, and it was with Kiki Bummer. I'm like, girl, please. But anywho, I say this to say it's inspired me to create my own stuff. Okay. I'm finally getting to the writing that I want to see, the roles I want to be produced. And because my 9 to 5 is so tailored into the business aspect of acting, I'm a project manager for an entertainment company. I have access to those different producers. I have access to those studio execs, the people who can literally look at my material and say, this is good or this is bad. Change this, change this, change this. It's things like that that I feel like God has aligned me and the universe has aligned me with because I want to keep auditioning. I will forever. But I also realize if you want to see change, you have to be the change. You have to be the person to say, I'm going to be the game player. I'm going to be the game maker. I'm going to be the one who takes the leadership decisions in my hand and create what it is I want to see created. So that's something I've been doing. That's just been fueling me even just on a, if you will, enrichment level. I feel like kind of it's been an extracurricular activity of sorts, but it's been worthwhile because I know what the finished product and result is going to look like, you know?
I love that you share that, and thank you for that. And I love and this is why I'm doing these interviews, guys. So it's okay to have moments where you feel tired. I know I've had that over the past year.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm exhausted. I've been doing this a long time, and I am just, send me a script, offer me a role. Thank you, more please. You know, literally. And it's okay to have it. They pass. And how long yours lasts is different. I always say, like, when this is no longer fun, please pause.
Yeah.
There's peace in a pause, right? Like, please do that.
Amen.
Please do that. And, you know, and I know this is resonating with you all watching and listening. You're working in entertainment. How then do you, listen, y'all, a lot of y'all, we got jobs, right? So how do you balance that audition? Oh, the day off. Oh, I need to film this. Because a lot of people are worried of getting sucked into something and now they can't get off to film the thing. And I see people sabotage their own auditions because they're like, how am I going to even get off for this? And then it just is a downward spiral. How do you manage that?
I feel like for me, well, girl, I'm a project manager. So all I do in my schedule is manage everything. So for me, I think management just came so easy and natural to me. But one thing I will say, and something I feel like you've told me is you make time for what's important to you. If it's important, it's gonna get done and it's gonna get done to the highest quality. I remember last week, I found out I did an audition wrong, actually. It was for this commercial. And I looked at the sides. I said, I'm going to ace this. I'm going to bomb. It's going to be amazing. It was this reality show, TV, confessional style. I was like, I'll watch Housewives of Atlanta, baby. It's going to be easy. Tell me why I did the whole audition wrong. They wanted pompous, snooty, bougie, all these things, not like Love Island. They wanted Housewives of Atlanta. So I said, okay, let me go back and do that. Set an alarm for 4:30 in the morning. I had to go into the office that same day. So I say, you do this tape from 4:30 to 5. 5 o'clock, you go to the gym from 5 to 6:30, 6:30 to 8. You get ready, you go into the office because sometimes it requires working overtime. Sometimes
Mm.
it requires starting early. You have to use your 9 to 5 to fuel your 5 to 9, but you have to also do that 5 to 9. I had to wake up at 4:30. That was the sacrifice I had to make because I knew I had to get it done and I had to get it done correct. I feel like I still could have got the call back with the audition I did because I was still on the money, but I said, no, you're a perfectionist. And not everything is perfect for sure, but when you know that there's a quality of work expected of you from
Yes, come on, yourself.
yourself again, bringing it back to you because you're what you need. And so I
Yeah.
said, Michael, wake up at 4:30, get that audition done. I don't care if you're tired, put on some concealer, baby. And I got it done and I got the call back. So that's what's going to be exciting for me is finally, being able to live that experience again in the actual callback. But for me, I knew I had to sacrifice things and time was one of them. And if I have to wake up early, so be it.
I love that. This might be, I don't know, put you on the spot, but what do you think is one of the biggest things you've learned about yourself in this journey as a professional actor in LA, working toward
Yeah.
that big, big break? What have you learned about yourself?
Can I tell you something? And it's gonna sound so cocky, and it's not gonna be, it's gonna be real though. Christine, something I've learned about myself is that I am truly different. You know what I mean? Like, I think you go into these classes and you're like, oh my God, this person can act amazing, and this person can do this, and this person can do that. But when I look at all these people, I'm like, oh, they're phenomenal. One thing about me, I'm gonna always give credit where credit is due. I'm taking a class right now that's focused on Yale faculty. So it's a lot of heavy hitters in the class. It's a lot of people who've been on shows, who've done things, heavy credits. And I'm loving looking at them. And I'm like, ooh, you're good at this. You're good at this. You're good at this. But something I'm seeing is what I'm good at. I'm like, ooh, but I got this. Ooh, but I got this. Ooh, but I have this. And I'm pouring back that love into myself that has been stripped away because people have, in classes and things, they tell you what you're doing wrong. But I'm looking at what I'm doing right. So I've
Yeah.
discovered so much about myself in these 4 years about who I am as a person, but who also I am as an actor. I'm quirky, I'm zany, I'm funny, but I'm dramatic, but I'm serious, but I emote. I do all these different types of things. I'm gay and I play straight and you know what I'm saying? And I think for me, I had to look at those things about myself and start loving them. And it's still a work in progress, baby, because I
Yeah,
wake
as
and
it
I'm
is.
like, I just wish I could be a co-star sometimes. Give me the one line. I wish I could fit in so bad. And sometimes, again, I will fit into that world. I say, look, let me make myself fit into this world and transform as an actor does.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I'm like, oh, I know my nose is a little bigger, my hair is bigger, my eyes are different. It's things like that are not defined by the quote unquote everyday Black boy that they sometimes look for. And I'm like, damn, I don't fit into these boxes. But one thing I do know about myself and I've discovered over the past 4 years is that I love every ounce of differentness that I bring.
Mm, hmm. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Self-love, it has to be. And I
Has
tell people all the time, like, oh, I'll start when I lose weight, or I need to, I'm too this. Listen,
mm-mm.
there is a role for you right now as you are.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you will be booked because of who you are, not in spite of who you are. And
Yeah.
so lean in. You are not meant to look like everybody else. You're not like you're just not meant to do that.
And you're not meant to book everything. I think that's a common
Yeah.
misconception also. We see things on paper and we're like, oh, I could book this, I could do this. But then there's somebody out there who they literally want based on, you're right, the phenotype of genuinely what they look like. That is going to book that very thing for what they look like. And you will be that person one day on the receiving end, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And I love that you're learning that and exploring that for yourself. You know, and I will say, I just remember my brain is going back to some of our work. So when you work with me privately, we do all these self tapes from all these genres of television and everything. And I just remember when something locked in for you about really creating your environment, getting deep, when playing with those close-ups, really like there's some tapes that you did that are still stuck in my brain. And when I saw the light switch go off for you. And so like it's those moments that excite me and stuff that I love to watch. And I think you said it, and I'll say it because a lot of people think it, like don't realize they have permission to do that.
Exactly.
Like I didn't know I was allowed to do that.
And can I tell you, coming from someone myself who has never had permission to do anything, I've always been told what I'm going to do. You're going to go to the number one public school in the world. You're going to get a good degree. You're going to work in corporate. When you get in corporate, you're not going to be too much because you're a Black man. So you need to stay in your place, but also maintain that place. I've always been told and expected to do so many things that I know how to follow orders, which is why when I do get, which I will credit, because when I get these redirections and these callbacks and these producer sessions, I'm on it because I'm like, you tell me what you need, I'm going to give it to you. But in the same token, to even get that level, to even get to the producer session, to get to the director session, you have to have agency over your own audition. That Natasha Ward one I'm talking about with Keke Palmer, I was playing a host. I put on my big yellow shirt. It had sparkles on it. I had the music. Now, welcoming your host, Kane. Like I went for it. Natasha complimented me at the beginning and said, what I liked about your tape is you committed, you went in, because a lot of people won't commit to that environment, but it's also because not a lot of people know that they can. We weren't given that understanding and that luxury and that permission, because in life, I find they tell you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, be this, be this, be that you don't have permission or agency over your own body and your own art until someone like a Christine Horn tells you it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to have an environment. It's okay to sit down, to stand up, to go close, to go back. All those things people just don't tell you. And when you do them, you create the full environment, thus captivating the audience. Case closed.
Captivate the audience. Yes. I have so much fun when I tape. I know most of us are now used to taping, but I'm always surprised, and I don't know why, but I am so surprised when I still meet people who don't like it, don't enjoy it, don't know how to do it. And I guess let me pause because that's because I'm so in it. But there are new people starting this every day. And so just take that note. You might not need that nugget right now. Just put it in your file cabinet and remember that we were talking about this and how important that is. What would feel like a dream genre or dream gig for you? Like if we go ahead and manifest right now, like what are we putting out in the world for you so we can hold space for?
I'm gonna say, girl, well, I'm already writing it, so I'm gonna say a little bit. I ain't gonna say too much, but I want a very damn, let me get into it. I really want, I am creating a piece that feels familiar to the 90s Friday. Friday is the best movie I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna reference, but that has a dramatic twist that leaves the audience jaw drop, that leaves the audience questioning, what genre are we in? How did we just get here? But it gets deep and it has a message, because I feel like now that I'm learning more about myself as an artist, everything I want to do has to have a message. It has to be powerful, whether that's in comedy, whether that's in drama. I want to leave the audience with a message. I want to leave you pondering something or questioning something. I can't give too much away for the plot.
I'm already
No.
excited about it. And that sounds like that encapsulates all of you, all those levels
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Something Spirit just gave me a question to ask, and I feel
Mhm.
like this is important because I don't always get to ask it. You talked earlier about your variety. You're able to use like gay, straight, this and that.
Yeah.
How is it being in this industry where people judge and make preconceived notions?
Yeah.
How have you leveled that for yourself
Yeah.
and made the decision? Because I have some clients where they're like, no, this is how I show up in the world, and I'm
Yeah.
not changing it. And so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that is fine.
Yeah.
Just know we have this is the box that we're operating in. And the
Yeah.
industry has definitely grown in diversity and how they cast. But
Yeah.
what did you feel like you had to make a personal decision,
Yeah.
or did you like, I'm just gonna go with the flow and see
Yeah.
what happens?
You know what's crazy? I think for so long I was getting spaghetti slapped against the wall, I feel like, meaning I was going out for everything and anything and everything and anything. And then it kind of got niche where you're right, I was going out for very certain roles, whether it was gay, whether it was straight, black, male, masculine, snowfall vibe. It was never the mix. It was one or the other. And then maybe actually kind of I think when I started coaching with you, that's when I told my team, no, go back to sending me out for everything. I'm not gonna be childish and half-ass it. Now I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna do everything. If they tell me I have to be some homeless guy on the street, I'm gonna embody that. I'm gonna get into that exact bodily feeling of what that feels like. And so for me, I feel like it's kind of the opposite. I feel like when I go out for much of a variety of things and I kill it, people are then confused. They're definitely starstruck and like, oh my God, he's amazing. But they're more like, now, how the hell is he doing all these? Who really is he? And I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes that is also the scary part about having a variety and having range, if you will, because it makes people question, but not in a bad way, in a good way, you know?
Yeah. And I think I'm so encouraged when I turn on a project and just see diversity that I didn't see growing up.
Yeah,
From
same.
non-binary, transgender,
Mhm.
like it is like, oh yeah, duh. Like just like that doctor can be any race.
Yeah, and it's crazy because
You know?
especially with being bi, I feel like people always were like, you either play straight or you play gay. And then when I start telling people, oh wait, well I'm bi, they're like, oh wait, okay, we're gonna throw you all this gay stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be all this
Like,
gay. And
it's
I'm
like,
like, wait a minute here, because
I'm an actor.
I'm an actor. And then, if you will, I'm not your quote unquote typical gay look of what they're waiting for or looking for. So it's like, then you have that box that I have to then kind of tweak and manipulate. So I say this to say, I'm now just playing a wide range of things and I'm not getting boxed in, not by choice or force necessarily, but because I feel like that's where the universe is guiding me. I'm going to play these different, like the movie I'm making. I'm doing a comedy, but then it gets real dark because that's who I am as a person, not as the teacher number one, not as thug number two, not as any of these different things, but who I am as a person. I know I offer a wide range of just variety in myself, and I feel more so now than ever misunderstood. I feel like a lot of people don't understand me, but something that God came to me and said a couple weeks ago was, it's okay that they don't understand you now because by force, they're going to have to understand later.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all. And I've
That's
just moving with that ever since.
that's so good. That feels good. You're not, if you can't see me, I'm just pausing and
She's taking
chewing
it
on it.
all in.
Yes. I mean, I just love you, and I just love
Thank
y-
you.
your spark, your zeal, zest for life.
Mm.
And as a human who is very tenacious, I'm very driven. I love working with people who are like, tell me what to do. Done.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Let's
Now,
do
like
it.
if I gotta drag you, like, honey, because I ain't gonna be here all the time. You got to drag, like you said earlier, it's gonna be on you to drag yourself and get it.
I
You
almost
know?
got so used to being like, Christine, can you help me with a tape? And now I'm like, no, she is giving me the tools and the formula. If I'm really stuck or I really think, oh, this is a bomb tape, I know it could be elevated a little further with second eyes. Then I'm like, let me call up Christine. I know she might be busy. So let me shoot it to her early. Let me yell it just so maybe she can still take a peek and take a little look and give me a little note. Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's something you're so good at. But you've taught me and poured so much into me that it's now up to me, you're right, to pour myself and get in that journey myself and pull my own self up because you have everything you need. That's something else God came to me and said about 2 days ago. You have all the tools you already need.
Yes,
And we
that is
think
so.
we don't. We think we have, like you said, we have to wait on this casting director. We have to wait on this person. No. You are the only tool you've ever needed, and you have everything you need, you know?
You've already dropped so many gems, but
Ah.
I'm asking everybody this as we wrap this interview. I want you to, as you know, I'm always looking how can we pour into people.
Yeah.
I get stopped on the street. I get stopped more for being a coach than being an actor, which is so being on TV, right? Which I love. I love y'all. If you see me out, please come and say hi. And because I love it. But I've met people who said, you help your podcast help me move from Texas to LA, or those notes really help me. So what you're sharing that I don't take lightly. So I want you to think about the actor at home who is, think about 5 years ago, Micheal,
Yeah.
getting ready to come into this arena. And it doesn't matter if you live in New York, LA, or whatever, but what advice would you give to someone who's starting out in this, they are serious about it,
Yeah.
and they don't even know what they don't know?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them?
Something that came up to my mind as soon as you started talking, honestly, and something I'm still practicing, but I wish I knew earlier. And this is so simple, but it's so real. One, you are enough. Kind of like I said earlier, all the tools you have are already there. But then something else that came to mind is have confidence. Have confidence because acting at the center of it all is just confidence. It's you believing those words that are on that paper and convincing us as the audience that those are the exact words and those are the feelings you're feeling. And when you can have confidence in your ability, when you can have confidence in everything is going to work out, you are the actor for the job. You can perform that scene in front of 40 people who went to Yale and got their MFA. You can perform in front of Keke Palmer, SZA, and Issa Rae, and these people are no different than you. You can have confidence to know you can be coached by Christine Horn, who's a veteran at this, and there is no shame in what you don't know. That is the beauty when you unlock so much about your career because you're confident in your abilities and confident that everything is going to work out in your favor.
There it is.
Ah!
There's nothing else to say. Do you see why I love this young man? Micheal Marcelio, star of the new Keke Palmer, whatever it is.
Yes, amen.
And your own amazing work. Keep shining bright. I know it's not always easy. I know that. But keep the faith. You know way more than I did at your age. Oh my gosh. And you have the drive and the access and the chutzpah, as you said. You have it, and it takes that. And I know you see, being in LA, there used to be this misconception. Well, for me, when I started in the Southeast, like, oh, they would always say that LA actors, and I was like, gosh, I guess every actor in LA is just amazing and slaying it. And then you get to LA and you realize they're not. There's a lot of actors in LA wasting time, only partying, not focused, not in class. They think just because they're cute, they can be an actor. And it's, you realize, wait, the pool gets weeded out. So you can still rise to the top. You can still be at the top of your game. So I'm saying to you, the work you've done, the work you've put in, the work you are still putting in and investing into yourself and your career and your personal development will take you so far. You're already so grounded, and you need that grounded energy in this industry. Because of all the things, all the temptations, all the, people who are unscrupulous, you need that. So don't lose that part of you as you continue in this industry.
And I really needed that too. Thank you for that, because you're right. I'm now meeting people who are signed to M88 and CAA, and I see them out partying and having fun and networking. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this game just who you know? Because if it is, let me get out there too. But then I realized you have to have love for the craft. If you have love for the craft, those things will come. You'll get invited to those things. But if you're really putting in the work, doing the honest to God truth of what you said you do, your results are going to reap the rewards too. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it feels like a sprint, but it's not. It's a marathon. And you're, girl, you're proof of that. I've seen how long you've been at this and seeing all the accolades you have now, because you stayed at it and you stayed committed and you've given back. That's also a big part of something I want to do, is start giving back. Not when I get to these levels, like now I want to start giving back, because I feel like that also is looked at in the universe, and the universe rewards you for that. So just thank you for always giving back, and thank you for showing us your journey, being transparent with your journey, and letting us know it ain't gonna be easy, because it ain't. But you'll have fun in it if you really love the work you do, you know.
And I love that. And the journey is the destination. Because let me tell you, and we'll end on this, don't forget the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. So the things you prayed for 3 years ago, you reach, but then of course you're going to keep setting new goals, new bars, and you do have to take a moment. You know, I always say we have to celebrate our successes, because we can't build upon success we don't acknowledge. So we keep gratitude. We have gratitude. Wow, I've come so far. I've come so far. Okay, and I'm gonna sit and enjoy this work that I have done. And yeah, naturally, hell, Beyonce has goals. We think Beyonce can sit. We think Beyonce can sit down.
Nope.
He's like, okay, great, but now I want to do this, and that's great.
My
That's
whiskey.
Drink my whiskey.
Yeah, she's thinking of new things she wants to do. She probably had that dream 20 years ago.
Exactly.
And now coming into fruition, you know?
Exactly. So there's space for that, but just honor yourself and how far you've come, and understand that your journey is not going to be like anybody else's. It's just not. There are the Lupitas who just come out of school and become an Academy Award winner. There's all these, but then your journey is special and unique.
And it's so much we don't even know about her journey. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We only know what the media puts out. So everyone is hopefully doing some sort of work, you know? So we just got to keep on that journey and keep doing that work, child.
Yes. Well, I'm going to talk to the camera now. Thank you all for watching and for listening to the Hollywood Bound Actor Podcast. Don't be stingy now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend who could use some encouragement. Stay tuned for Micheal Marcelio, because he's usually on your TV screen on some national commercial, flipping a burger, doing something. And if you enjoyed this, there are more interviews just like this on the podcast. Thank you so much. Remember to shine bright like the star that you are. See you next time.